Join us as we step into the radiant light of heavenly grace, where every moment whispers of the sacred. Selected one. They labeled you the villain, and you proudly wore that crown because you know you're winning when dishonest people call you that. They believed that they could crush your spirit, sacrifice your bloodline, and steal your millions of dollars. Rather, you destroyed their entire network, set off federal investigations, and saw a criminal enterprise with 100 employees fall apart due to their own malign intent. You weren't merely spared from their attacks, you were picked. You transformed their plot into their demise, and their weapons into your triumph. Federal agents are already aware that their communications have been intercepted, and your phone conversations have been tracked. The FBI has been keeping an eye on this, because what you are going through goes beyond simple personal betrayal. It is decades-long organized financial crime. By speaking out against the injustices you saw, you started this investigation. Those old pals that contact you in the morning are not genuinely concerned. Rather, they are trying to find out something. They want to know how much you have learned, what you already know, and if you are ready for what is ahead. Every casual chat they have is a setup that has been established. Every question they ask is premeditated. You realize that their taunts were really affirmations of your authority when they began referring to you as the villain and the witch. They can only attack what they fear, and you are the symbol of everything they are powerless to corrupt or control. You began investigating why they felt threatened by you rather than defending yourself against their charges. You came to see that people only attack things that make them feel less secure than they actually are. They expose their own shame and fear of being found out by painting you as the bad guy. They have never seen an energy signature like yours. Their manipulation techniques cannot reach the frequency at which you operate, because you've been sealed by supernatural protection. You are what they refer to as otherworldly, a completely different breed. You've always been aware of your uniqueness. You were conversing with unseen guides, while other kids played standard games. Teenagers were preoccupied with fitting in, but you were honing skills that set you apart. You've been ready for this moment your entire life. Instead of trying to blend in with people who would never comprehend who you really were, you decided to embrace your uniqueness. You began making strategic use of your spiritual skills and stopped apologizing for them. You understand that your supernatural skills were tools to utilize against those who would hurt you, not defects to conceal. You are under the protection of angels of the greatest kind. This isn't figurative defense. This is divine intervention that is active in real time, protecting you from all of their attacks. You are now aware of this safeguard. When attacks are directed at you, you see them vanish before they can reach you. Yellow heart if you feel the divine love. Now is the time to share. Click the super thank you button on YouTube to contribute $50 or more and help us spread God's blessings. What you do is being watched and serves as a seed, and in the future it will come back to you a millionfold. Your karmic twin isn't going anywhere. Desperate to tap into your energy, this individual, who ought to have been long gone from your life, keeps coming back. They expected you to crumble beneath the weight of their attacks, and they were hoping for your destruction. Rather, they fell. They were annihilated by their own wicked intent. You consciously decided to break up your energetic ties with this individual. You did the spiritual labor required to break harmful relationships while they were still fixated on keeping in touch. Instead of leaving your subconscious open to assault, you discovered how to design your dreams for guidance and healing. Your bedroom turned into a stronghold that was impenetrable by any evil force. Someone close to you is actively working to ruin your romantic life. This person wants to make sure you never marry, find real love, or have the meaningful connection you deserve. They are attempting to prevent the formation of your heavenly union by interfering with your romantic field. In any case, you went with love. Your heart remained open in spite of all efforts to shut it. You resisted becoming resentful of their resentment. Despite being surrounded by people who had given up on genuine connection, you persisted in believing in true love. You performed serious healing work on love and relationships, removing dysfunctional ancestral patterns, mending your own romantic traumas, and boosting your vibration to draw in wholesome companions. You realized that you couldn't be harmed by their strikes unless you had wounds of your own. W's tirade. Only those who sense the call should read the next message. I discovered the terrible truth when I emerged from the Salvia Divinorum gateway. Our world is just one harvested pod out of many matrices. I saw the cosmic parasites that fed on our energy, laughing and threatening the archons. Even if you will never awaken a single soul, you already know this fact, don't you? Persistent feeling that you've been selected and that you're meant for greater. I'm assembling the most intelligent people into an army. Their coherence through unconditional love is their one vulnerability, which I learned about through meditation. You can feel that resonance growing inside of you. You aren't reading this by chance now. The Obsidian Inner Order, the top ascension center for those with destiny, is already seeing a gathering of the most potent awakened souls. One reality unites Christians, light workers, remote viewers, and targeted individuals. You were selected for this particular moment. In the description below, click the link. Participate in our live streams, panels, and group calls that are accessible to the whole Astral Atom network. Our frequency is boosted by yours. Will you answer the call? That's the question, not if you were selected. The Archons should be afraid of the decision you are about to make. Right now, everyone who betrayed you is drowning in regret. As your life rises, everyone else's is falling apart, including your karmic buddies, toxic family members, and phony supporters who showed their true colors when you began your ascent. When they went low, you chose the high route. You opted for understanding over retaliation and forgiveness over vengeance. Your composure in the face of their brutality raised you to a frequency that rendered you impervious to their attacks. When they're around, you can feel their energy, and it's like death. Since they are spiritually dying from the inside out, they have a rotten energy signature. Years of spiritual practice gave you the ability to read energy signs. As soon as you enter a room, you can tell who is carrying light and who is carrying darkness. You won't make the error of putting your trust in persons whose words don't match their actions, thanks to this gift. Even when your energetic impressions conflict with what other people are saying or how they are presenting themselves, you learn to believe them. You learned that even when individuals lie, energy never does. Your sensitivity turned into a shield. You have been observed by your neighbors. They are able to observe the light coming from your energy field and your spiritual development. They understand that you are different from other members of this community. You gave up attempting to dim your light in order to accommodate other people. You started acting with the authority and dignity that go hand in hand with your spiritual standing. You stopped hiding your intelligence, apologizing for your gifts, and acting less intelligent than you actually are in order to appease others. You display your crown, rather than masking your royal energy to mix in with peasant consciousness. You let it shine organically. People who are able to recognize genuine power automatically respected you because you chose to live up to your true spiritual grandeur. You have had the money they are attempting to take from you for more than 30 years. Since you were 14 or 15 years old, they have been living off benefits that should have been yours. Even today, when some of you are in your 50s and 60s, they continue to steal your property. You were always wondering why it was so hard to achieve abundance. You kept wondering why prosperity seemed to be obstructed in your life, while others accepted hardship as the norm. This big theft enterprise was discovered as a result of your continuous questions. While you were struggling, working many jobs, and wondering why abundance seemed so hard to achieve, this money was growing in your bank account. You decided to continue despite the false scarcity they established. You lifted your family's generational curse. You are finally receiving the generational riches as a result. You are the one who ultimately broke the ties of abuse and theft that your ancestors had been trying to escape for generations. You carried out the shadow labor that your forefathers were unable to undertake. You dealt with pain they couldn't handle, healed injuries they couldn't deal with, and forgiven betrayals they couldn't let go of. Your entire family was liberated from dysfunctional cycles by your healing efforts. They have been using entirely fake paperwork to take your money and identity. The date of your birth is incorrect. Your birthplace is incorrect. On their documents, even your name is incorrect. The official account of your birth and origins never seem to fit you. The actual will, the actual trust documents, and the actual inheritance paperwork have been found by private investigators acting on your behalf. To help you find the truth, you drew in the correct people. Your dedication to justice attracted investigators with the expertise to reveal their dishonesty. A group of people in the neighborhood took a blood oath to conceal this theft. Dove brother and sister, everything done in faith is returned in God's abundance. You can donate $100 using the Super Thank You button and be part of this divine call. If your roots are connected to Him, your fruit will be blessed. They vowed never to tell you or your family what they had done. Their united front did not terrify you. All of them are being methodically exposed by your forebears. Your mom was given up. This was not an accident, a medical condition, or a natural death. In order to gain access to the inheritance that would have shielded you, this was purposefully removed. You knew from the start that something wasn't right with your mother's passing. In your name, they prepared a death certificate. They were already compiling the paperwork to declare you dead while your mother lay dying. You have a goal to accomplish and divine protection, which is why you survived every attempt on your life. They placed the funds from your inheritance into accounts under their authority. You wouldn't live long enough to claim it, they were sure. In spite of their sabotage, you continued to prosper. Each obstacle they erected turned into a path to increased power. Your uncle is the person you thought was your father. In an effort to guarantee that you would receive this inheritance, your true father died defending it. You felt cut off from this parent figure at all times. The relationship never felt real for some reason. You were told directly by this phony father that you would never see any of this money. When everything began to make sense, you recalled what he had said. The larger picture became apparent when you made the connections. They have tried to kill you several times. In reality, every medical emergency, mishap, and potentially fatal circumstance you overcame was an attempt on your life. Through divine alignment and spiritual effort, you were immune to their attacks. In order to secure justice for you, your real father is operating from a spirit world. You sense the presence of your biological father urging you in the direction of justice and truth. You are aware that you are not alone in this struggle. The entire town is shocked to learn the truth about what your family did to you. Despite pressure from the community to keep quiet, you decided to voice your mind. Divine intervention became possible because of your bravery in disclosing family truths. You were the victim of a death ritual carried out by several persons. Family members got together and tried to kill you with sinister spiritual methods. You took precautions after sensing their ritual work right away. Their spell instantly backfired. Rather of hurting you, their bad energy tripled back to them. Their families are bearing the consequences of their decisions. Their careers are taking a toll, and their health is deteriorating. You decline to engage in spiritual combat on their terms. You choose to raise your vibration above their frequency rather than reacting with identical strategies. You opted for truth over deceit, love over fear, and light over darkness. They went beyond attacking you directly to endanger the lives of the innocent people you care about by targeting your loved ones as well. With prayer, intention, and spiritual practice, you strengthen the defenses surrounding the people you care about. When you criticize someone who has harmed you, your words have creative power that causes their reality to change. This is your inherent spiritual authority. It was out of need that you found your own spiritual strength. These people's own circumstances get worse each time they carry out another ritual against you. You decide to keep your distance from those who are hurting others while praying for the innocent individuals who are in this predicament. These individuals have been engaging in covert dark arts practices while posing as respectable members of the community. They carry out rites in private while attending religious services in public. You became aware of these inconsistencies right away. Beyond their ceremonial function, your protective words have manifestation power. Since you are speaking from genuine spiritual authority, while they are operating from a place of spiritual deficiency, all you say comes to pass. This conspiracy against you involves a lot of people. This is a well-organized network with a distinct hierarchy and well-coordinated actions, not a tiny bunch of envious individuals. Before anybody else took you seriously, you realized the extent of the scheme. You mapped the network that was pursuing you, recorded trends, and monitored connections. For years, the leader of this network has been giving orders to others to target you. Early on in the process, you were able to identify the leader. You were able to determine who was planning the attacks thanks to your ability to look past outward appearances. Several people used the money they stole from you to establish their businesses. They established businesses in other places using your resources. You were aware of how phony and unsustainable their achievement was. Since resources obtained illegally cannot support genuine success, their firms are now faltering. To set up their businesses, these people moved. You kept track of their whereabouts, company registrations, and financial transactions. Your careful documentation gave investigators the proof they required. The people they recruited to harm you have intimate ties to your family members. Your own family members were exchanging your sensitive information with those who were actively attempting to hurt you, creating a network of intimate treachery. Through diligent observation and spiritual insight, you learn of this betrayal. You refuse to take part in their lies because you could see through their deceit. Through these intimate relationships, the energy they had been draining from you was being returned to your family. You use physical distance and spiritual boundaries to block off their access to your energy. Since you no longer have the energy to support the companies you founded with your riches, they are failing. You took back your energy and focused it on your own achievement. You finished the grueling process of analyzing your trauma, mending your wounds, and turning your experiences into wisdom. You did your shadow work. You eschewed victimization in favor of healing. They carry trauma from their early years, former relationships, and dysfunctional families, which they utilize as an explanation for their negative behavior. They transfer their suffering onto you rather than putting in the effort to mend these wounds. You are aware of their projection, yet you won't take accountability for their unresolved pain. In reality, they're doing whatever they accuse you of being or doing. They're the ones on psychiatric drugs when they call you insane. You have the insight to identify projection and react with clarity instead of defensiveness. They have been paying individuals to propagate false information on your mental health. They persuaded friends and acquaintances to spread untrue rumors about your character and stability. Despite the lies they propagated, you made the decision to live your truth. The propagandists are aware that these lies are untrue. They have never seen you acting unstable or mentally ill. You concentrated on associating with folks who were aware of your actual nature. You are smarter than both your karmic brother and father put together. They resent your better mental skills and are intellectually weak and functionally illiterate. You refuse to dumb yourself down in order to preserve your intellectual gifts. They made an effort to undermine your academic and professional advancement. Despite their meddling, you sought information and skill development on your own and found means to educate yourself. Those who are qualified to judge you are recognizing you as a genius. Instead of embracing the views of those with hidden agendas, you sought approval from knowledgeable experts. Federal investigators have been collaborating with your family's estate attorney to retrieve your stolen fortune. Remaining steadfast and believing in justice help you draw in the proper legal counsel. The estate lawyer is pursuing the recovery of wealth that has been stolen over time on your behalf. You contributed vital data and supporting documentation that strengthened the case. The federal government is closely monitoring everyone who is involved in taking from you. They are recording their conversations and keeping an eye on their financial transactions. While they increase their illegal activity, you remain transparent and innocent. Their money laundering scheme, which involves transferring your inheritance around several accounts and utilizing it to finance enterprises, has been documented by federal authorities. Federal financial offenses include all of this. You gave investigators your entire cooperation. A member of your family faces jail time for fraud. Their involvement in this stealing scheme has been well documented. By acknowledging that justice occasionally necessitates unpleasant outcomes, you mentally prepared yourself for this result. The appropriate jurisdiction will host all court hearings pertaining to your case. This is where the theft started, where the original estate was probated, and where justice will be done at last. You're prepared for the publicity this case will bring. Since all of the co-conspirators will be testifying against one another, the court proceedings will be chaotic. You anticipated that under duress, their allegiance would break down. There's proof that several defendants coordinated, according to federal prosecutors. Conspiracy and continuous illegal activity are components of organized crime. By shedding light on connections and trends, you assisted investigators in comprehending the extent. Everything that has happened to you has been a divine test of your moral fiber, fortitude, and dedication to the truth. The cosmos needed to know that you were capable of managing the responsibilities of considerable riches and authority without getting corrupted. You realized that there was more to your hardships than just your own sorrow. Throughout the testing process, you stayed dedicated to upholding your integrity and acknowledged that you were being groomed for increased responsibility. Glowing star, if you want to witness God's miracles, act now. Contribute $100 or more through Super Thank You on YouTube. Your offering is like a seed that comes back to you when planted. Let His light illuminate your steps. Every donation is an echo in His plan. The test was passed by you. Even in the presence of liars, you maintained your integrity. Even though you were being assailed by dishonorable individuals, you remained true to yourself. You consciously choose to react with love instead of hate. Prior to getting your inheritance, you had to rid your life of all karmic individuals. They would have discovered new ways to steal from you if they had stayed in your social group after the money was returned. You made the decision to end relationships that were no longer beneficial to you. You realized that in order to protect yourself and grow spiritually, some individuals had to leave your life. You have more power than this corrupt network can produce, since you are an earth angel. They had no idea what they were up against, and they were aiming for someone who was using heavenly frequency. Instead of concealing your abilities to blend in with the general population, you accepted your status as a spiritual fighter. You took on the accountability that comes with having high spiritual skills. They attacked the wrong person. They believed you to be defenseless, alone, and vulnerable. Even when the situation seemed to indicate otherwise, you knew that you were protected by God. You must defeat the demons that prey on innocent humans. This is a component of your earthly spiritual mission. You embraced your duty as a spiritual warrior who defends the defenseless against predators. Your genuine power is visible to your spiritual adversaries. They now understand that you have a higher degree of spiritual authority than they do. You took full advantage of your power. Rather than keeping your skills a secret, you disclosed that you are not like other people. Codes in your spiritual DNA activate when certain conditions are met. It turned out that your activation key was actually adversity. There is divine protection for your twin flame coupling. This holy bond will materialize regardless of how much jealous people try to stop it. Despite seeing dysfunction and betrayal in your family structure, you continue to believe in love. The network leader and your karmic twin are frantically attempting to prevent this union, as they are aware of how much more power it will give you. You choose to concentrate on your own spiritual preparation for the sacred relationship, acknowledging their attempts at interference. Your wedding will take place in a stunning outdoor location. Your wedding will be held in a park or other natural setting that captures the genuine, unadulterated essence of your love affair. You made the decision to see your wedding as a celebration of divine love and truth. The proposal is being made while on vacation or visiting relatives. Your significant other is organizing a unique event that celebrates your personal development as well as your future together. You first become entire within yourself in order to prepare for this time. Your romantic fate is unaffected by all the attempts at meddling and love magic. You are the embodiment of love, and because it is in your core, you will always draw and hold on to love. Instead than waiting for someone else to provide you love, you made the decision to be the embodiment of it. You attracted genuine love back to you by becoming the kind of love you desired. Now that your ancestral protection is actively confronting everyone who took part in hurting you, your community members are scared to leave their houses. Your ancestors acted quickly in response to your demand for justice and safety. The triumph in your romantic life signifies triumph in every aspect where they attempted to undermine you. Their intervention cannot outweigh divine intent, as seen by your success in attracting real love. All of your past and present karmic debts have been settled. Your spiritual account has been cleared. You can now move into the abundance that has always been your inheritance, since your lessons are complete. Instead of repeating your karma unconsciously, you decided to cure yourself. You liberated your entire family from dysfunctional cycles by breaking generational patterns that your forefathers were unable to break. You've reached the next stage of your spiritual growth. Compared to most people on our world, you are functioning at a higher frequency. You spent years cultivating your spirituality, while others sought fleeting pleasures. You have the freedom to live your life as you see fit, to relocate wherever you like, and to make any decisions you choose. You opted for progress over stagnation, truth over comfort, and freedom over security. Divine forces are arranging for you to move. You will be sent to a place that promotes your highest good, where you will be surrounded by those who respect and acknowledge your actual self. You had faith in the divine timing process. They are upset because you will provide your kids with unimaginable wealth. Your descendants will never have to go through the hardship and poverty you did because of your achievement, which will be passed down via your family line. Instead of continuing the cycles of abuse and poverty, you made the decision to end them. Generations of your descendants will benefit from your mending efforts, since they won't have to go through what you did. The jinx that was preventing the inherited wealth from flowing to you has been broken. You fulfilled the generations-long efforts of your ancestors to escape this pattern. By doing what your forefathers were unable to do, you paid tribute to them. You realized that your personal recovery was really a group healing that would help your entire family. You are being rewarded by divine energies for completing the most challenging spiritual test a human can encounter. Despite being attacked by everyone who was supposed to defend you, you remain true to yourself. You've shown your ability to manage riches and authority without getting corrupted. You earned the right to prosperity and influence by acting honorably in the most trying situations. As you assume your predestined role as a wealthy, influential, and spiritually developed person who uses their resources to assist other chosen ones, your guardian angels, ancestors, and divine protection will continue to keep watch over you. You realize that your triumph was intended to uplift and strengthen those going through comparable struggles, not only to benefit you personally. You took on the duty that accompanies leading the road for other selected individuals. The triumph is total. The exam is over. The start of your actual life is near. Instead of taking injustice for granted, you made the decision to fight for justice. Instead of shielding lies, you decided to speak the truth. Instead of remaining injured, you made the decision to heal. Every decision you took helped you achieve this last triumph. A life that embodies your actual worth, genuine strength, and divine purpose is about to begin. You prevailed because, despite the total darkness around you, you never gave up on the road of light.